Meta just sent a clear message to Nvidia and the rest of the chip world. It doesn't want to rely on external GPUs forever, and it's building its own AI chips to prove it. Welcome back to AI Assets. Meta plans to start manufacturing its in-house AI chip, codenamed Iris, in September, as part of a broader push to double its computing capacity from 7 gigawatts this year to 14 gigawatts next year. Iris is one of several generations in the Meta Training and Inference Accelerator MTIA program, where Meta, together with partners, designs custom AI chips to power training and inference across Facebook, Instagram, and new generative AI services. In this video, we'll do three things. First, walk through what Meta is actually building with Iris and MTIA. Second, dig into why this matters for investors in Meta, Nvidia, Broadcom, TSMC, and the broader AI hardware trade. Third, talk about what the market is missing and what to watch as hyperscalers turn from customers into chip competitors. Let's start with the news. Meta's Iris chip has cleared internal testing and is now scheduled for production starting in September. That chip will join MTIA 300, which is already in production and used for ranking and recommendation workloads, plus upcoming MTIA 450 and MTIA 500 chips optimized for generative AI and high bandwidth memory. Meta's strategy is unusually aggressive. Instead of the traditional 2-year chip cycle, Meta plans to release a new MTIA generation roughly every 6 months through 2027, using modular chiplets and shared racks and network infrastructure to keep deployment fast and costs under control. At the same time, the company is still buying billions of dollars worth of GPUs from Nvidia and AMD, but explicitly says that custom silicon is critical to scaling next-generation AI. So why does this matter for you as an investor? First, for Meta shareholders, Iris and the MTIA roadmap are about cost, control, and long-term margins. Meta is committing huge capex to AI data centers and needs a way to reduce the per-inference cost of its models as usage scales. If MTIA chips can deliver good enough performance at lower cost than generic GPUs, that directly improves the economics of Meta's AI features, from recommendation engines to agentic tools and coding models. Second, for Nvidia and AMD investors, this is another warning shot. Meta is one of the world's largest buyers of AI compute, and it is now explicitly pursuing a dual strategy. Keep buying high-end GPUs, but move a growing slice of workloads to custom in-house silicon. Over time, that could mean slower growth or more pricing pressure for external GPU suppliers, especially in inference workloads where specialized chips can shine. Third, for Broadcom, TSMC, and other arms dealers, this is a structural tailwind. Broadcom and manufacturing partners help design and fabricate MTIA, which means that even as hyperscalers reduce reliance on branded GPUs, they deepen their reliance on these behind-the-scenes infrastructure players. If AI customers become chip competitors, the companies that actually build and package those chips can still win, regardless of whose logo is on the silicon. Now, what is the market missing? Most headlines focus on the rivalry angle, Meta versus Nvidia. The deeper story is about vertical integration and timescales. Traditional chip design timelines are measured in years, but AI model architectures evolve in months. Meta's aggressive 6-month release cadence for MTIA is a bet that tighter integration between models and silicon can deliver better performance per dollar than relying solely on external GPU architectures. If that works, Meta isn't just cutting costs, it's building an internal feedback loop where model teams and chip teams co-evolve the stack. The market also tends to underestimate how much of this is about inference, not just training. MTIA 450 and 500 are explicitly optimized for generative inference with huge memory bandwidth, aiming at the phase where the model responds to user queries, the part of the pipeline that runs continuously. Shifting inference to custom chips can have a bigger long-term impact on operating costs than tweaking training hardware alone. Finally, many analyses miss that Meta is still increasing its overall compute budget even as it builds in-house chips. The plan to double data center capacity to 14 gigawatts means the company isn't just swapping GPUs for MTIA, it's adding more total compute and trying to control the mix. That nuance matters when you think about demand for external chips and for power, cooling, and data center infrastructure. So what happens next, and what should you watch? First, circle September on your calendar. That's when Iris, the next MTIA generation, moves into production. Watch Meta's commentary around that date and in the following earnings calls for any quantification of cost savings or performance benchmarks versus off-the-shelf GPUs. Second, follow the MTIA roadmap through 2027. Meta has laid out multiple MTIA generations with clear targets for generative AI workloads, memory bandwidth, and performance, and plans to bring them all into mass production within about 2 years. If they hit those milestones, that strengthens the thesis that hyperscalers can successfully move a large share of AI workloads onto custom silicon. Third, monitor how Nvidia, AMD, and other GPU vendors talk about hyperscaler demand in their own earnings. Any hints about customers shifting specific workloads to in-house chips or renegotiating pricing based on alternatives will give you an early read on how much competitive pressure MTIA and similar efforts are creating. From a portfolio standpoint, here's how you might think about it. If you hold Meta, this development likely supports the idea that its massive AI capex isn't just spending for spending's sake. It's building a differentiated infrastructure layer that could reduce unit costs and create defensible advantages over time. If you hold Nvidia, it's a reminder to watch not just growth, but concentration risk. When your biggest customers are also your long-term competitors, you need to track how much of their demand stays external versus goes internal. You may also want exposure to the arms dealers that benefit regardless of who wins the GPU versus custom silicon race, foundries, packaging, and design partners that sit underneath all of these efforts. In a world where AI customers slowly become chip designers, these behind-the-scenes names can become a more stable way to play the hardware side of the AI boom. The bottom line is this: Meta's decision to build and mass-produce its own AI chips is not a one-off headline. It's part of a broader pattern where the largest AI platforms move down the stack to control more of their destiny. For investors, the question isn't just whether Meta is competing with Nvidia, but how this shift in who owns the silicon changes the risk and opportunity landscape across AI stocks over the next 3 to 5 years. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure you subscribe to AI Assets for daily no-hype insights on AI investing, from chips and data centers to platforms and regulation. Let me know in the comments. Do you see Meta's custom AI chips as a real long-term threat to Nvidia, or mainly as a way for Meta to control its own AI costs while still relying on external GPUs? Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.